Witam ponownie, z tej strony Polygłos, and in this video we'll be discussing what I call the suspicious endings, c, ść, and źć. Each of these endings conceals a hidden consonant that's part of the original stem and needs to return when adding the endings e, and o. The apostrophe's back, so we need to do some palatalizations which you might recognize from earlier. So, verbs that end in c can be split into either k or g, and palatalized to ch and ż respectively. From ść we can get s, t or d, which each palatalize to ś, ć and dź. In Old Polish this also included b, but doesn't appear anymore apart from in one dated verb which I won't include. Ść is pronounced the same as ść and just has one hidden consonant, which is z, with a palatalization of ź. It's always worth checking a grammar dictionary or something similar to see what form the verb you need takes. Let's go through each one by way of example, starting with piec, to bake, which can be split into piekć, and adding the endings we get piekę, I bake, piecze, he, she, it bakes, with a palatalization mind you, and pieko, they bake. Strzec, to guard, on the other hand, has the stem strzeg, and thus conjugates strzegę, I guard, strzeże, he, she, it guards, and strzegą, they guard. Moving on to ść, we can take paść się, to graze, like cows do, which has the stem pas. So, conjugates pasę się, I graze if I were a cow for some reason, pasie się, she, i.e. the cow grazes, and pasą się, they graze, the cow and her lovely cow friends. Pleść, to plat, has a stem in t, so we get plotę, I plat, plecie, he, she, it plats, and plotą, they plat. Ignore the random O for now, I'll explain it later, I promise. That just leaves verbs like iść, which has a stem in d. So conjugates idę, I am going, idzie, he, she, it is going, and idą, they are going. And as we know, verbs like gryźć, to bite, only have stems in z, so that would be conjugated gryzę, gryzie, and gryzą. Now, going back to pleść, why is it like that? Well, if you recall from part 6, some vowels like to change depending on the consonant that follows. One of the most common changes is ye becoming yo before a hard or unpalatalized consonant like t. So the e remains in the form plecie, he, she, it plats, but becomes an o before a plain t, seen in plote, I plat, and plotą, they plat. Other verbs that do this include zamieść, to sweep, which conjugates as zamiotę, I will sweep, zamiecie, he, she, it will sweep, and zamiotą, they will sweep. Nieść, to carry, which becomes niosę, niesie, and niosą. Remember though, this doesn't always happen, evident in piec, which just becomes piekę. Check a dictionary. Another change to be aware of is a high u becoming a low o, which is solely to do with monosyllabicness. Take móc, for example, a single syllable verb meaning to be able to. The moment you add the endings, the u kind of frees up, relaxes a bit, and becomes a regular o. Now, given the verb has a stem in g, we can conjugate it as mogę, I can, może, he, she, it can, and mogą, they can. Similarly, búzť, meaning to gore, like a bull or something, which has a stem in d, does the same thing. Bodę, I gore, if I were a bull, bodzie, he gores, i.e. the bull, and bodą, they gore, the bull and his overexcited friends. The last stem change I'd like to discuss is on becoming ę. Again, this doesn't always happen, as usiąść, to sit down or sit up, conjugates usiądę, I will sit, usiądzie, he, she, it will sit, and usiądą, they will sit. However, verbs like trząść się, to shake, do. Trzęsę się, I am shaking, trzęsie się, he, she, it is shaking, and trzęsą się, they are shaking. Again, check a dictionary. Oh, and one last thing, I promise, some of these verbs have a conjugation phenomenon that I like to call an intrusive n, meaning we add an n to the stem before conjugating it in the present. Let's take biec, to run. Biec has a stem in g, so maybe we'd expect biegę, bierze, biegą, like in Russian, but instead it has an intrusive n. So the present stem is actually biegn, and we add the endings to that. Biegnę, I'm running, biegnie, he, she, it is running, and biegną, they are running. Notice how the palatalization is applied to the n and not the g. Similarly, kraść, to steal, has a stem in d, but an intrusive n. So we get the conjugation kradnę, I steal, kradnie, he, she, it steals, and kradną, they steal. And the behemoth of them all, przysiąc, to swear, like an oath. Przysiąc has a stem in g, an intrusive n, and a stem change from o to l. This gives us the almighty conjugation of przysięgnę, I will swear, przysięgnie, he, she, it will swear, and przysięgną, they will swear. I think that's probably the most hefty part of this series, so make sure to go back and make sense of everything. If you've got that though, then we can move on to arch verbs.